What is up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. Before we get into the video, I think it's so funny. Every time I record a video like this where I'm sitting on the ground, like my dad will text me and be like, "You're on the ground again." I don't know. It's more comfortable. It's like I'm talking to you guys like on a personal level. But I digress. Today, I wanted to talk about the one tool that has helped me so much in my fitness journey just in the past not even year. I'm not even kidding you. I just started doing this in May of last year. Macros. So if you've heard the term counting macros, tracking macros, just macros, macronutrients, if it fits your macros, IIFYM, flexible dieting, they all mean the exact same thing. So today I'm going to be bringing you through what that means, how you do it, and why it's beneficial. And then I'm gonna preface this with, if you have extra questions besides this, after I post this, I'm gonna put a little question box up on my Instagram story. So if you have extra questions, you can put them in there, and then I'll do a separate like macros Q&A just so I can get to all of your questions, because I know there's going to be extra questions and I want to be able to help all of you as much as I can. So to begin, think about, when you're trying to lose weight, a lot of people will tell you be in a caloric deficit. So a caloric deficit just means you're eating less calories than you are burning. So that would be sort of like a counting calories way of losing weight. Now that's great because you want to lose weight, and that's still like when you're counting macros, you're still going to be in a caloric deficit if you want to lose weight. You're still going to be in a caloric surplus if you want to gain weight. So then why are you counting macros? The reason you're counting macros is because you want to lose weight, but you don't want to lose muscle, right? You want to lose fat. So counting macros or macronutrients, which are your carbs, proteins, and fats, will help you make sure that you are burning the correct parts of your body, meaning you're not burning muscle for energy, you're burning fat for energy. So again, what is a macro? A macronutrient is a nutrient, like any other nutrient, that has calories or energy. So there are only 4 macronutrients. A lot of people say there's 3, there's 4. Carbs, macronutrient; protein, macronutrient; fat, macronutrient; and the 4th is alcohol. Alcohol has calories just by per gram. It has no benefit to our bodies, but it is a macronutrient because it has calories. There are also micronutrients, so that's the complete opposite of a macronutrient. Micronutrients are things that don't have calories, that are sometimes our body needs if they're essential. Micronutrients are vitamins, minerals, water, all those different things that we just need in our body that doesn't have calories. Counting your macronutrients, your carbs, fats, and protein will help you get to your goals. So how are you going to make sure that the amount of calories that you're eating or that you need to eat to reach your goal is split up evenly between these carbs, fats, and protein to get to your specific goal? This is the problem with when people are like, what should my macros be? I'm this tall and I'm weigh this much. There's so many things that go into it. Macros, calories in general, not just your height and your weight, it's your age, it's your gender, it's your activity level, it's your muscle mass. It's what do you do? How long have you been working out? Do you have a lot of muscle mass? Then your BMR is going to be different. Then your calories that you need is going to be different. Like there's a lot of different things that go into it. So that's just something that you need to think about when you're going into macros. Let's say you figure out that you want to be eating 1,800 calories right now. And now you're trying to figure out, okay, how do I split that up between my macros? So one thing you need to know is a gram of protein is 4 calories. A gram of carbs, 4 calories. A gram of fat is 9 calories. If you say, okay, I want to have 130 grams of protein, you would do 130 grams times 4, and that would give you the calories of protein that you're eating in a day, if that makes sense. So the typical way I like to go about it is I eat about 0.8 to 0.9 times my body weight in protein. So right now I am 136. So let's say I went to my calculator, said, okay, I'm 136 pounds, 136, let's just go with the lower one, times 0.8. So that would be 108.8. If I didn't feel like I was working out that much, like, lifting that much, I didn't really need that much protein, I would go with that. But since I'm cutting, I want to make sure I'm maintaining the muscle that I have built. So I'm going to go a little bit higher. I'm going to do 136 times 0.9. So that's 122.4 grams of protein. So that is what I'd be eating if I was cutting right now, which I am. So then I would do times 4, because that is how we'll get to the calories, and that is 489.6 calories that I'll be eating. So again, I said what I want to eat at 1,800 calories, right? So then I do 1,800 minus the 489, and that gives me 1,311 calories left. So this 1,311 calories that are left, I can divide between carbs and fat. The way you decide which one you want to divide it into is really a personal decision. I personally like putting as much calories towards carbs as I can, because I like the energy, I like the pump, I like all of that. But you know, as you go more into weight loss, it's better to have a little bit less carbs, a little bit more fat, but I'm going to go more towards the carby side. So I have 13, 11 left. So I can, you know, there's a bunch of different calculations you can do to find out the next portion, like what should my carbs be, what should my fat be. I personally just divide it like, do I want a 50-50? Do I want a 75-25? So usually I want it 70-30 between the next two. So 13, 11 times by 0.3. So that would be 393 calories I would devote towards fat. Divide that by 9 to get 43 grams of fat. That's what my fat would be. 1311 times 0.7 to get my carbs in calories. Then I divide it by 4 to find out how many grams of carbs I should eat. 229 grams of carbs. So again, that's just the process you would go through if you were doing it on your own, just like putting in a calculator. If you already knew how many calories you want to eat. Say you don't know how many calories you want to eat or how many calories you should eat. You can, I mean, it's kind of difficult to explain unless you like sort of know a little bit about your body. So you could go onto a macro calculator. I always use healthyeater.com. I just really trust it. They put in full descriptions of what everything means, what you should put in if you're this, what you should put in if you're that, and it'll give you an estimate. Again, since it's an easier way of figuring out your calories and everything like that, it's not going to be 100% accurate, because they can't just, you know, say every person who's 135 and 5'4" is going to have the same, like, it's just hard to say, but it will be more accurate than if you are just guessing like, oh, I think I should eat this, you know? So if you really don't know, I really do suggest using a calculator like that. Healthyeater.com, my favorite one by far, and they'll tell you the calories you should eat. They'll also help you out with macros if you want to do it that way instead of calculating it on your own. Say you figured out your macros. So I said what I was like 122 protein, 229 carbs, and like 43 fat. Say I want to eat that. Now what do I do? So you'll go, if you have MyFitnessPal, if you don't already, I suggest downloading it. You'll go into MyFitnessPal, you'll set up an account, whatever. It'll ask you your goals. It'll give you its own idea of calories. Ignore it, okay? Just completely ignore it. I have girls do this all the time, my lower body challenge, so they're like, well, it told me to eat 1,200 calories. I'm like, don't do that, please, because no, I don't care what it says. Don't listen to MyFitnessPal. It also takes into account if you work out and you track your workouts in here, then it'll increase your intake. Like, it's insane. Don't listen to what MyFitnessPal gives you. Calculate your own calories and intake. You'll go into your MyFitnessPal and you'll go over to more on the side down here, and you'll go into goals. So when you go into goals, it'll say your current weight, starting weight, goal weight, all that stuff. Again, don't worry about it. Like, that stuff doesn't really matter unless you're actually trying to track it through MyFitnessPal. But we're not, we're just trying to track calories and macros. So you're gonna go into calories, carbs, protein, and fat. Up at the top, it'll say calories. You're gonna click on that and you're gonna put in the calories you want. So say you want to put in 1,800, like I just said. Now, the thing is, if you don't have premium, you're not gonna be able to set the exact macros that you want. You can only just adjust using the little things they have there. So that's what we're just gonna do. I'm just gonna try to get as close as I can to what I have. 25%, 113 grams protein, or 30%, 135 grams. I'm probably gonna do that. I don't like going too low on protein. 229 carbs, 225 carbs, 40 grams of fat. That's a little too low. Yeah, so I'm just gonna stick with 203 grams of carbs, 135 grams of protein, 50 grams of fat. Now, the thing is, if you really want to hit the macros that you set on your own and you don't have premium, you can just remember, like, okay, I want it to be at 122 grams of protein and 229 grams of carbs. So the last like 10 grams of protein that I have left in a day, I'll just eat as carbs. You know, it doesn't have to be completely accurate to what you have in the macro calculator. So you just hit check and you go back and you're done. So how do you actually track throughout the day? Each food that you're eating has some sort of carb, fat, and protein. Some of them have none of one, etc. But generally is carbs, fats, and protein. So in order to track them throughout the day, you're going to have to track your food in this. I suggest, if you don't already, and if you want to be completely accurate, buy a food scale. It is not, I promise you, it is not time consuming, it's not tedious, it's not a long process. It is so worth it, you guys. Like, if I didn't actually count macros last year to cut, I would not have gotten as lean as I did, which I'll put up here. The transformation I made was 110% attributed to macros. You know, if I hadn't counted macros, I probably would have lost muscle. I probably wouldn't have felt nearly as pumped as I did throughout the whole process. Probably wouldn't have lost as much fat as I did, etc. Obviously, I did cardio and stuff on the side, but I'm just saying macros really, really helps. And for my bulk this year, I bulked, but I don't feel fat or anything. I don't feel like I gained a shit ton of weight, and that is all attributed to macros. I'm telling you, get on it, guys. So say you have breakfast, for example. You will measure out the oats, put water in, whatever, put it in the microwave, take it out, put in a scoop of protein powder, and then, you know, you could have the bowl on the food scale the whole time. You just keep tearing it, and tear just means you like set whatever's on the food scale back to 0. So then when you add in the berries, it just counts the berries. So 50 grams of berries, tear it so it's back to 0. 16 grams of peanut butter, tear it so it's back to 0, and then you have your meal. Then you just enter all in MyFitnessPal. MyFitnessPal is so easy to use. I haven't used anything else. I've heard people use MyPlate, different things like that. I've only ever used MyFitnessPal. You literally just hit add, you put food. You can save a meal. If you eat the same meal every single day, you could save it, and then you just like literally put, I had oats today, and put it in. So easy. You could go up here, it's the plus mark. You know, they have a bunch of restaurants saved in here. So let's say you go to Red Robin or something and you have their salad. You could just search Red Robin salad. It'll come up, put it in, easy peasy lemon squeezy. You can scan a barcode too. So say you got like a specific protein bar or something and you just can't find it when you're searching it, or you just want to scan it because it's easier. You just scan a barcode, it brings it up like that. It is so easy to count your macros, guys, and I don't mean to like say that like if you have been struggling and make you feel bad, but it takes a little bit getting used to, because it's obviously different than your normal routine of just eating when you want to eat and eating what you want to eat. But it will have you so much happier throughout your weight loss process, because you don't feel like you need to cut anything out. You know, you can have cheese, you can have pizza, you can have chocolate, you can have everything if it fits in your macros. And that's what IIFYM means, is if it fits your macros. So I have found it so beneficial. Throughout my whole cut last year, I ate chocolate, I ate pizza, I ate cheese. I had everything that I wanted to have because it fit my macros, and I'm still doing that. So when people ask me, you know, what do you do if you have a chocolate craving? What do you do if you have a pizza craving? What do you do if you have an ice cream craving? I eat it. You know, I eat it. I fit it in my macros and I eat it because I can and you can. And if you please just count your macros, I promise you, you will have the best experience with weight loss, and you won't feel restricted, and you won't just quit after the first 2 weeks. I hope that answered most of your questions, if not all of them. If you do have more questions, again, after this is posted, you can go ahead and go to my Instagram story, Kelly Nicole Fit, and I will answer whatever questions you put in there in a separate video. Besides that, I am starting up vlogs again. I kind of fell back on my cut a little bit, but I'm very ready to get back into it and full force get into a cut. So if you want to see what I'm doing, see how I'm doing it, stick along and I will take you through that process. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching.